Welcome home. We are WNST, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore. We're Baltimore positive, positively getting you out on the road. We're doing the Maryland Crab Cake Tour on the 10th. That is next week. We'll be at Sorrento. First time in Arbutus. I've seen the crab cake. It looks beautiful. It's all brought to you by our friends at the Maryland Lottery. I'll have the Maryland Treasures scratch-offs to give away. I might have some gift cards too. GBMC sends us out on the road, as well as Farnan and Dermer. I was in this guy's town a couple of weeks ago. I may be returning sooner than he thinks. Las Vegas, Nevada pulled me in on the Maryland party. This guy's actually, he breaks news like Mick Jagger getting COVID in Amsterdam. Then he tells me, hey, Shannon Sharp and Rob Woodson are going to be at your party. And damn if they weren't. And I hung out with those guys at the Maryland party at the Encore Win with my pal Howard Perlow and Bill Cole and Cole Roofing. JT the Brick has been tossing bricks and sometimes soft lobs. The Rush Tour, he says to me, what are we talking about? Well, I haven't talked to you since Maxx Crosby. Let's start with that. I haven't talked to you since I went to Vegas. I came in, missed you, saw Rod Woodson, who's a Raider alum, saw the Raider bar at the front of Circus. I saw everything except you when I was in Vegas. And we have Rush starting, the Maxx Crosby thing. And, oh, by the way, you're in the Stanley Cup Finals. And I know you're a Knicks fan. So I had Bembry on a little while ago talking because he's the biggest Knicks fan I know in the whole world, this side of the Spike Lee. So, like, you and I got things to talk about, right? I think.
Yeah. I think the Knicks are the most important thing in my life right now, other than my family, because it's 53 years. So 53 years of a drought. I don't care what sport you have. Could be the Jets. It could be the Buffalo Bills or Sabres. It could be the Mariners who've never won a World Series, or the Padres, and we both like San Diego. But this Knicks run, because they're in the number one media market at the Mecca, where we've seen great shows, to not have a title since 73. And then, as you know, the Golden Knights in their rookie expansion year, you lose to your Caps. We do get a chip and a cup. Now we're back for 3 Stanley Cups in 9 years, as the whole country of Canada is fuming at Vegas now. Like, they're so jealous that in 10 years, Bill Foley's got us in the cup 3 times.
Yeah, what the hell has happened out there, dude? I mean, like, I swear on my life, I was with, not my wife, my girlfriend before my wife, but I was out in Vegas watching the Dallas Stars play the Buffalo Sabres at New York, right there at the sports bar, right where the piano bar and Gallagher's and all that is. And I watched the Stanley Cup get raised by Dallas, and his foot was in the crease. Madonna, everybody knows that. Hasek, everybody knows it. 30 years later, but like, and then the next time I was there, I had just left, leaving Tony Robbins and Ovechkin with the cup on the ice, walking through New York, and thinking, did that just happen? Did the Stanley Cup just get raised by Alex Ovechkin and the Washington Capitals? Did that just happen in Vegas? And that feels like 5 minutes ago. And this is the 3rd Stanley Cup back there since then. And I just think to myself, who knew that it was even going to work in Vegas? Who knew the professional sports was going to work in Vegas, Brick? You got there before anything did. You were the first man on the street, right?
Yeah, I started in my career in 96 at Sports Fan Radio Network Memorial Day. I just finished 30 years on Memorial Day. And I look at Vegas, remember, Vegas always had boxing. So Ali, Holmes, Tyson, Frazier. We always had boxing. Dana White recently did a great job at UFC. UNLV, Larry Johnson and the Running Rebels of 89-90, one of the great teams ever assembled. But we didn't have pro sports. Now the baseball stadium's up. It's about 1/3 of the way done, maybe a little over 1/4 of the way done, right across from where you're staying, as you told me, like directly eyesight across from you.
It looks like a Tonka toy, dude. I was at the airport. Yeah. It's smaller than anything in the city. It's wild.
Yeah, it is wild. They got a lot of space. They're trying to figure out what they're going to do for casino retail around it. It's too big of a footprint for baseball only. They gotta figure out what they're going to do. There's a lot happening in Vegas since I saw you, and I know you're coming out with the MGM on sale. The MGM might be sold to Barry Diller. Caesars just was sold, not official yet, but Tillman Fertitta, owner of the Golden Nugget, is buying Caesars. We're talking about 17 to $19 billion deals. And my good friend and boss, Mark Davis, is selling off pieces of the Raiders to guys like Michael Dell and Egon Durbin of Endeavor and Michael Melman, who owns Discovery. There are deals going on in this town, man, and I'm talking global, multi-billion dollar deals. And sports works, Ness. All you got to remember here is when you come to sports, keep an open mind because we're getting our balls bashed in because people are saying you got too many fans from other teams. That's what happens. Everybody, the Buffalo Bills are coming this year. The Bills Mafia's got 30 different parties set up on the strip already, and they're not here till October because they haven't played here yet. They played during COVID with no fans. So we're dealing with the shrapnel of everyone saying, well, a lot of people are coming. Yeah, a lot of people are coming to see Bryan Adams. A lot of people are coming to see Bruno Mars. A lot of people are coming to see all these bands because it's Vegas and we're a free country and we have a lot of fun here.
It's Vegas. I mean, it really is, dude. You warned me about the wind when I was there. I've never seen anything. It was like a wind
Mm.
hurricane the night I was there. It was outrageous. I mean, and more than that, when I was out, there were a bunch of dudes in country hats. I'm like, what's going on? I don't know. Some Morgan Wallen thing was going on over at Allegiant
Oh,
Stadium.
huge.
There's a hundred
Huge.
thousand country people over here. There were all the EDM freaks, half naked with glitter all over, up all night in the windstorm outside, out on a speedway. Like, and I'm with a bunch of like Maryland executives at a pool at Steve Wynn built, and there's just the No Doubt crowd, all the girls in the
Mhm.
pink and the skirts and
Yeah.
I mean, it's just many little cities happening where you are, but the Raiders are the biggest sport in the country. Oh, by the way, we have World Cup coming here too, which is a
Mm.
whole thing
Yeah.
you and I could go into, and people basing in Vegas and moving all over the place because Vegas is a little cheap right now after
Mhm.
being a little pricey for a period of time. But the Maxx Crosby thing, that's front and center. That's really the reason I hit you. I didn't hit you about any other.
Yeah.
Well, real reason I hit you was Getty Lee and Alex Lifeson this week. But the Maxx Crosby thing. Last time it was you and me. You were kind of shocked. He's got the surgery. He's going to be fine. They're sending him out. You're getting draft picks. DeCosta's going to love him. Minter's going to love him. Put him in slot and slay. He's going to be the best player in the league. That's the last time I left you. I went to South America.
Mm.
I never called you back. We never did
Right.
anything. Are the Raiders happy to have him back? I would think they
Oh
are.
yeah, yeah. They're thrilled to have him back, and but yeah, I'm not an anti-Baltimore guy. Even when Shannon Sharp took it straight up the middle on a missed coverage by Tony Dorsett's son,
And a really good
who,
block by Brandon
yeah,
Stokely, by the way. Go
right,
back and
yeah.
watch that.
Still, you got to defend that at the goal line with Trent Dilfer. You got to defend that. You know, give up a 30-yarder, I'm fine. Lose the AFC Championship game is may he rest in
Just
peace,
when I think I don't
Siragusa.
love sports anymore, you bring up a moment. That's one of the
Yeah.
great moments of my young
Yeah,
life. It really
well, it
was.
wasn't when Siragusa landed on Gannon, which is still to this day one of the dirtiest hits in modern professional football history. Everybody would have got thrown out of the game but him. But I go back to that. I've never been an anti-Baltimore guy. I've always loved a lot of the history there. And what the Ravens just did to the Raiders and Maxx Crosby was so bleeping dirty. It was such a dirty deal. Everybody knew Max had surgery, and it wasn't a big surgery. It wasn't a cleanup, but it was a regular surgery that he was going to be fine on. So you know he can't pass a physical. So what the hell are you bringing him in for? You know he's not going to pass the physical. He just had surgery. You're doing a deal, which I thought was a great deal. The 14th pick overall is fair. The other pick in the first round is a throwaway pick. Who cares about the 25th, 24th, 28th pick of the first round? The eighth pick in the second round could be just as good. You had Maxx Crosby, who instantly would have been the hardest worker in the building, the first guy in, last to leave. And they did him dirty as they made him wait in the lobby. They flew him into DC. They didn't fly him private. He had to fly, he had to fly, not economy, but he flew commercial. And then you make him wait and then no one comes out to see him in the lobby. It was disgusting what the Ravens did to Maxx Crosby. And you missed out on him because the Myles Garrett deal went down yesterday, and the Rams got him for a first and a very good player. You had Maxx Crosby delivered to you perfectly for the next 4 or 5 years, and that could be the difference why the Ravens are in the AFC Championship game or not.
Rick, I got into it with Luke this week, and I said to him the injury had nothing to do with them ending this.
Mm-hmm.
And Luke's like, I can't believe you'd say that. I'm like, when he got on the plane, when the coach didn't meet him at the door, the deal was over before he even took the
Yeah.
physical. They had changed their mind and they were playing along. Like, why would they go through all this trouble to fly him in? Because they wanted people like me to take a microphone and bullshit people that they have integrity when I know they don't have integrity. This was I mean, how many hits on your integrity are you going to take before you just say, like with Trump, you're just like, he's just a liar. And like for me with DeCosta in this case, seeing Crosby do that podcast and just seeing the look in his eyes and thinking like, I flew across the country. I was excited to be a part of your team, your family. And from the minute I was there, I just watched that and that change. Like, it, I don't even know what to say. Like, I don't know how anybody could see it any other way after seeing it that way when I know every executive agent that I've talked to in the league. I don't know if it affects the way the Ravens do business moving forward or whether, but I do know this. A handshake with Eric DeCosta and the Baltimore Ravens is not a deal. It's a deal's not a deal
Yeah.
with them. And that's a really different place to be in sports because you and I have been at this a long time. I don't know a lot of dishonor in that way amongst those people with each other, sometimes with us, sometimes out the side door. It never used to really be that way, but there was a lot of honor in sports back in the day that just doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, there's another theory behind this, and the other theory has a little bit of merit to it, is that the Raiders paid Tyler Linderbaum more so than the market. They exploded the market, like buying a house for 1.2 million and you spend 4 for it, but you love the house and you're trying to rebuild your life and you want the best house. So they got Linderbaum, and the Ravens were like, whoa, we lost Linderbaum and we could keep our 14th pick, go O-line. We could find a way to kind of do it differently. And they got cold feet and they did the Raiders dirty.
Well,
And it's
Hendrickson was
really,
available too. Had somebody
yeah,
overwhelmed Hendrickson across the street, Maxx Crosby would be
yeah,
here. I believe that.
yeah, yeah,
Bad
I
leg
agree
and
with
all,
you.
bad
I know.
physical and all. Because I don't believe that is eyewash. The physical thing to me,
Mm.
they never didn't believe Maxx Crosby wasn't going to be a good player or a good player for them. That wasn't even what it was about. It was about them managing their assets and feeling
Mm.
like they didn't care about their word, literally.
Yeah, they didn't. And the way they did Max Dirty and his wife Rachel, IMC, their foundation, they're wonderful. I mean, this guy's going to win the NFL Man of the Year. You know people that have won that award and how important that award is. Max is going to get that. He's been nominated 4 years in a row for the NFL Man of the Year. He could have got that award with a Raven jersey on with the patch that you wear to the end of your career, and they blew it. And I really think it's going to come back to haunt him because the Raiders, I tell you this every year, I always think the Raiders are improved after they have a bad year. They get a new coach, they get a new GM, they get new players, and it hasn't worked out. This one's a little bit different. Max comes back through the door. They get 7 new starters in free agency, including Quay Walker, Nakobe Dean. They get a bunch of good guys. On top of that, they get Fernando Mendoza, the pillar and the foundation of the organization going forward. They got Brock Bowers and Ashton Genty, but they got Linderbaum. And I want to spend a moment on this because you know him better than me, and I need this for my shows. This guy is unbelievable. I've gone to OTAs the last couple of days. This guy walks to the podium. It's like he's been a Raider for life. We were very fortunate to be able to get him in free agency and now have him the pillar who's going to be snapping the ball to Mendoza as Genty's behind him and Brock Bowers is in the slot. If the Raiders' nest can't figure this out after that, I mean, they got Max, they got pretty good players, but now they got, I call the core 4. The Yankees had the core 4 when they were winning dynasties. The Raiders have Mendoza, Linderbaum, Bowers, and Genty. That's pretty good. And they're all under 25 or 26. And that's going to be the core of them going forward. They can't screw it up now. But back to your Ravens, you made a great point. DeCosta's handshake and word isn't worth nothing. What he did to the Raiders and Mark Davis and John Spytek and Maxx Crosby will not be forgotten, and we'll never forget it.
JT the Brick is here. He does sports radio in Las Vegas, Nevada, also nationally. Often you catch him on Sirius and other places. You can also follow him online. And, of course, always, what are you to the Raiders? You're not the voice of the Raiders. What are you to the Raiders? What's your title?
Nice. A lot of people say I'm the voice of Raider Nation. I'm not the voice of the team, even though I do the
you don't call the
preseason
games,
play-by-play.
but
I
you
don't
sort
call the
of
game.
but you do
Yeah, so
tons of work around the
yeah,
Raiders. Yeah.
I do a lot. I've done everything for them. I do the pre and post still for 30 years. I do the coach's show, which is big. The coach, we're one of the few teams. There's only a handful of teams in the NFL where the head coach speaks every week on a TV show. I host that. I host their flagship radio show. I do a podcast for them. So I've been fortunate. This is my 29th season coming up, and I've done everything for them, and they've been really good to me. I would not be talking to you to this day. I won the Smack Off on the Jim Rome show. I started off kind of unique, got syndicated out of the gate. We met 30 years ago at Super Bowls. But what's been really the big break of my life is working for the Raiders. The first 4 years I worked for the Raiders, we went to 2 AFC championship games and a Super Bowl. I thought it was going to be every year because Al Davis already won 3 Super Bowls. They were back again with Rod Woodson, Jerry Rice, and Tim Brown. I thought that was going to be the norm. And for the last 20 to 22 years, other than a couple of 500 seasons, 1 playoff berth, where Derek Carr lost in Cincinnati to Joe Burrow on the way to Burrow going to the Super Bowl, the Raiders have really struggled. So I'm hoping, as I'm on the back 9 of my career, but early on the back 9, I got plenty of time left, that I catch this Mendoza Allegiant Stadium, Brock Bowers wave, because everybody else seems to be able to get to the Super Bowl. Jaden Daniels takes a 4-win team to the NFC Championship in year 2. Drake May goes to the Super Bowl. Bo Nix breaks his ankle. What the hell is Bo Nix even doing in the playoffs? He's 3 minutes away from the Super Bowl, so I got to think Mendoza's going to have his day.
We're waiting on Lamar Jackson. Meanwhile, here, JT the Brick joining us here from Las Vegas, Nevada. I guess last thing for you in the, belief of the Raiders and the Linderbaum thing, I'm not shocked that somebody went all in on Linderbaum. The Ravens, meanwhile, I'm sitting here with a mini camp next week. Luke's covering. They don't even know who their center is. And it's not like that's not important. I saw Joe Flacco fall apart here after Matt Burke left.
You did.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know the value and the significance of that. And had they signed, let's say, Alex Mack at the time, how much different things would have been around here in the middle. And I know how much things changed around here the minute Marshall Yanda left. Having Hall of Fame interior linemen on your offense, it's different, man. And I've seen a couple, John Ogden, being a part of that. Matt Burke and all are very good. But the Raiders went all in on a position that I've always felt like, well, if you want your quarterback to do well, you can't have a 6th-round center from Delaware, which is what the Ravens tried to do to protect Joe Flacco, and it didn't work out well.
Yeah, listen, that's really a great point you make, because you've seen some really great teams in your career there. And I don't mind the price. The price is unique because the Raiders had more cap space than any team by a lot. So they had to spend the money. If you're going to overpay, it's very rare where you overpay someone $2 or $3 million a year. You can overpay them $3 or $4 million or $4 in a contract, but to overpay them $3 or $4 million, and we don't know if they overpaid him, it could be a great value. But the Raiders basically said, get him off the market. We have to get him, because they knew they were getting Mendoza, as you're aware of that. They know they had Ashton Genty. Let me tell you how good.
And they're getting Mendoza on the cheap in the early going, right?
Yeah. Let me tell you how good Ashton Genty was. Last year, over 50% of the time, let this sink in, he had really good all-purpose yards, combined yards. He was getting tattooed behind the line of scrimmage, 2 yards deep, every play, not every other play. He couldn't get to the line of scrimmage. And Geno Smith was his quarterback, and Geno was not a bad player when he came in, not a bad player, and he's going to probably play better with the Jets. The Raiders couldn't block me or you. So they bring in Linderbaum. They got Colt Miller. They got this Jackson Powers Johnson. They drafted another offensive lineman high this year. They'll figure it out now, but Linderbaum is going to be the key. Max coming back is really important, but I think the bigger topic, as you mentioned, Lamar, is this. Buffalo's opening their new stadium this year. Lamar hasn't won a Super Bowl, but Josh Allen hasn't won a Super Bowl. You have 2 of the all-time greats, not of this era, of any era. They'll go down in history as 2 of the all-time greats. And they haven't won a Super Bowl, either one of them. I still think it's a arms race. Forget about the Patriots. They're going to come back to earth. Joe Flacco, they got a lot of flaws. It's going to come down to Baltimore and Buffalo again. Buffalo and Baltimore again, because Lamar is too good and Josh Allen is too good not to be winning multiple Super Bowls, let alone playing in them. So Baltimore losing Linderbaum and not getting Maxx Crosby, what are you thinking? You're knocking on the door of the Super Bowl the last 3 or 4 years, and you let Linderbaum walk and you don't take the deal with Maxx Crosby? How good do you think you are in Baltimore not to have those two players?
Well, how good they think they're going to be with Trey Hendrickson and with Venga as a guard
Yeah.
from Penn State. All right. Most importantly, the real reason I called you was Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson
Yes.
are reuniting on Sunday night. I got to be honest, man. I had just come back from South America a couple of weeks. I was chasing AC/DC and Brian Adams. I came home. I got sick. It was opening day weekend, Sunday. I was just feeling better. And I looked down on my phone at like 7 o'clock on a Sunday night, and Rush is on stage at the Junos, top of my timeline, playing
Yes.
"Finding My Way" with the new drummer Annika Niels, and I was like, I had no idea. I don't think anybody in Canada knew that was happening. It was a real cool sort of social media moment to
Yeah.
play one song to give like a little taste of like what this is going to look like and feel like and be like. And that night, I went all in on Los Angeles, and I'm like, I'm going to the first show. I haven't missed the first show of a Rush tour in probably 25 years. Since they reunited, I missed the first show of the first tour, but I was in Scranton the second night, Hartford, I think. So I've been at Tulsa, Manchester, New Hampshire, my wife's hometown. They opened the tour there.
Mhm.
So I've been at the beginning of all of these. I am like a child, Brick. I,
Yeah.
I am like, it's like signals arrived at the record store and I'm 11
Mhm.
years old and I'm going to the mall and I want to read the cover. I am so excited about this Rush tour, but I'm only going one night in LA and I'm going to let it
Mhm.
mellow. And then when it gets to Philly, New York, but I'm going to pile on in the fall. I was going to go to Mexico City. I don't need to drink the water. I listen, one night, one taste, and then you ask me how many shows you going to go to. I don't know, probably a lot.
Yeah, you will. You will. And I'm already holding some tickets for Dallas, San Jose, and I'm looking to go to more. And again, 54 shows for me. What'll be my 55th? And I might go and jump out. I wish I was with you in LA. I've never been a first night of the tour guy because I've seen him so many times and I've seen him in so many epic venues. I'm good with that, but I
I
love
love
the fact
feeling
that
that
you
energy, man.
I
I love
know.
feeling the energy of not knowing what the next song's going to be. I love that, dude.
Yeah, I love the fact that you're going opening night. I got another buddy in San Diego who's going, and there's something different seeing a global new drummer replacing Neil. There's something different about being there the opening night, not knowing what the set's going to look like. Is there going to be a washer or a dryer there? Is there going to be a rotation of chicken? What's it going to look like to see that? And then the euphoria of the fans who are going to be there as you're going to see dads and sons and daughters and families there. My rule is I kind of got to be close. I'm not a guy that's going to sit in the second deck. Sorry. A buddy of mine in Dallas is like, we can get you in a suite. Sorry. I don't have to be. I've been front row for Getty, second row for Alex. I just want to be down low. I want to see the look on Getty's eyes when he comes out in YYZ and him and Alex connect in the middle. I want to be there for that. You're going to be there for it on Sunday night. I'm jealous. I am going to World Cup, my son and I. We're going to a World Cup game either the 28th of June or July 2nd. We secured some tickets. I'm excited about that. And then I dive into Raiders preseason sometime in August, and then I go on lockdown until February. So I for a Rush show for me, it's got to be a Thursday or a Friday night where I can land back in Vegas on Saturday and not jeopardize a game on Sunday. Oh, because we didn't get any national games. You want to know another thing
Oh,
that's
well,
really got me
come
going?
on,
We
man.
didn't get
When you
we
lose, you don't get the big games. Come on,
Oh,
you know
hold on,
this.
hold on, hold on, hold on. Not a Thursday game? Not a Monday game against the Chargers, week 2, as we always get with
Don't cry about
Mendoza?
Thursday. Nobody wants to
Come
play a
on.
Thursday game.
Well, opening night in the history of Buffalo's new stadium is a Thursday night game. Jeff Bezos, Ness is finally saying, do not give me your crap. I want your good games. And look at that Thursday schedule. It's looking pretty good.
Well, I hope you enjoy the World Cup. I hope you get to a Rush show or
Hmm.
10. I will report in with you. You're on Monday morning.
Yes.
I know the minute you get up, you're going to be texting me, how was your show? Don't wake me. Well, I'm going to be on the West Coast, so you can wake me up early if you want. I'll be up early working with Luke. JT the Brick is here. He knows what it's like to get up early, stay up late. The Raiders,
Yes.
national radio, hockey, Knicks, New York, all of this stuff. My love to your family, your dad. Hope everything goes okay on the East Coast for you. I'm West Coast, you're East Coast. But hey, we'll always have Amsterdam the night that Mick got COVID, right? We'll always have that, right?
We will never forget that, what could have been. Thank you, my friend. I'm jealous. Have a great Getty Fest, man, on Sunday in LA. I want to hear back.
Oh man, I cannot wait. I just hope they play Red Barchetta on Sunday. I know they're going to mix it in because they're going to do revolving sets and all this. So I'm just letting this mellow because like I've lived
Yeah,
long
enjoy it.
enough to see Rush again.
Let
And
it come to
you,
you.
you can see how happy that makes me, Brick.
Yeah.
JT the Brick's my dude. He's out in Las Vegas. He would be happier if the Knicks win. Some of us around here bitching about 1973 and Clyde. The Orioles haven't been to the World Series since '83, so we're bitching about that all summer long as well. Luke will be at minicamp all next week in Owings Mills. I'm going to be everywhere that you need me to be. I am Nestor. We are WNST, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore. We never stop talking. Baltimore positive. It's fun around here this month.